Hi, welcome back. Today is August 17th, 2021, and it's been a couple of weeks since I've done a garden tour for you. So I decided to come into the garden and show you a few things. I've changed a lot of things up. A lot of stuff has happened. We've had some pests come around. There's a storm coming, and so I'm trying to get this done before the storm comes, but I don't want it to feel rushed or anything. We'll just get as much done as we can. It might be a full garden tour, it might be a partial garden tour, but we'll see. Let's get into the tour. This week I'll start off up here. You'll notice right off the bat, I've had some pests. Look at my strawberries. Ate them all. I think they'll come back though. So I just need to go ahead and get them moved into the backyard like I wanted to. This was a deer that did this, by the way. Elliot came out 3 different nights in a row and at 4:30 in the morning and caught them out here munching away. They had already eaten the whole Aussie that I had over there, and they were eating the tops off the peppers. So we knew there was a pest, and we figured it was a deer, but we wanted to make sure. And so Elliot came out and caught her. So the deer have finally found the garden, so we'll have to worry about a fenced in area over here. Luckily the stuff in the back is already fenced in. So Elliot scaring her off 3 days in a row has worked so far, so we'll just have to see what happens next. Look who's coming home. Hey honey, how was your trip to the store?
Pretty uneventful. They still don't have roasted red peppers.
Okay. I helped him unload the groceries and put things away. So now we can get back to our garden tour. Let me turn you back around. We'll start here with this first bed. We've still got most of our cherry tomatoes. I came through and pruned them pretty heavily, but I'm editing a video about that right now, so I'll tell you all about that in that video. But I came through and pruned them, but I pruned them a little differently. I did all of them, but you can see that one. Those are pretty naked, and I was worried that they were gonna get sun scald, so I did these others in a different way. These are all the cherry tomatoes down through here. Matt's wild cherry and Brad's atomic grapes, and they're alternating every other one. I pruned all the blight off, but look, it's starting to slowly creep back, which is pretty normal for this time of year. Everything from here on out I feel kind of like is a bonus. I just keep pruning them until I can't anymore. All right, down here is the parsley. These are all weed seeds that sprouted from the straw that I laid down, which is unfortunate, but as long as you pull them before they go to seed, you can just leave them in the bed and then they can become part of the mulch too. All right. So these are the Matt's wild cherry. Those are Brad's atomic grape. And then down here below, more parsley. These are the jalapenos. I keep all the non-spicy peppers here in the kitchen garden so that the kids can pull them and eat them anytime they want to, and nobody's confused about whether or not they're spicy. There's a basil tucked back there. And then the flowers that need to come out. So that's pretty much it for that side. Side here is potato leaf tomatoes. So we've got vintage wines and brandy wines. And more flowers. And then the eggplant. I don't know, my eggplants aren't doing very well. I don't know what's wrong. They keep falling off. These look pretty good though. Never grown those before. See these divots? I think those are hoof prints from the deer. These guys. Whew. That is a cat-faced tomato. Well, I need to harvest the beets. I guess we can do that together. Hang on. stop it.
You were slow-moing a bee.
Yeah, I was slow-moing a bee. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and pull the beets. The pests have taken all the greens, so we're gonna take the beets.
Nice.
Ooh.
Gross.
Yeah. I haven't figured beets out yet. They're supposed to be Detroit red beets, but they're, I don't know.
I'm not sure what that means.
They're just supposed to be regular beets.
Oh. Well, they're pretty regular. I like it when they're nice and golden like that. They look cool.
That's pretty much it for that row too. Everything's being kind of phased out. I'm hoping to sow some seeds in the next few days, depending on the weather. Now to this middle row here, and this whole section here is all the dark stuff, like the Cherokee purples and Russian purples. They're all here in this middle bed. The reason that I decided to put them all down here in this area is because, as you can see, this end of the raised bed garden is right below this large pecan tree. And so it gets less sun in the day. And I've heard that more shade is better for the darker colored things like Cherokee purples, Russian purples. They have some of those blue tomatoes. So I decided to put them down here and see if that would work. And it's worked out pretty well so far. These are the Russian purples. Here we've got these carrots. They've been in here. Oh, that's a weird one. Forever. Oh, that's a bigger one. Maybe time to harvest the carrots soon too. That's exciting. I'm ready to put my greens in. All right, here's the middle section. From here down is mortgage lifters. Really kind of cute. And then these are all bell peppers. More bell pepper. Banana peppers. More banana peppers. More mortgage lifters. They're pretty. So that's this side of the middle bed. So now we're on to this side. There you can see a bunch of the banana peppers. Onto this side is the clementine tomatoes. And they're not the tastiest tomatoes, like they're good tomatoes. Any homegrown tomato is better than a store-bought tomato, but they produce tons. Like we can't keep up with how much they produce. It's nuts. Biggest problem is I can't get out there to harvest those, so do more ladder climbing this week. And I've pulled pretty much everything from down here. There's a rogue parsley there and there. The Swiss chard has already come out. There's some more carrots here. Then from here down to the end are the Cherokee purples. And the Swiss chard has been decimated down here. That needs to come out. I need to sow some more in a different place. Okay, onto the third bed. I think this is where the biggest change has happened since the last garden tour. I super pruned all these guys, like way back. It was only the fittest survive type situation. And this is what we have left. I pulled out the Aussie because, like I said, the deer was eating all of it. I pulled several of the tomato plants themselves. Here I left the longevity spinach because I want to be able to harvest and juice it. I mean, I can do that now, so anytime. This side is the St. Pierre tomatoes. And then these are the green onions that, yeah, I guess they're ready to come out. And then from here, there were Pink Berkeley tie-dyes there, but I think they're all gone now. And then down there are the Valencias. On to the other side, tomatoes that are left over here are orange persimmon tomatoes, and they are huge. They produce the biggest tomatoes. We've gotten a 2-pound tomato off of here this year. The leeks, I'm pretty sure I messed those up. More leeks. These are what's left of the beef steaks. As you can see, there's not much left. I'm just waiting for those fruit to start to blush, and then I'll pull them. And then this is where the Aussies had volunteered, but I pulled them all out, and the deer did most of that for me. That does it for the 3 long beds. So now we'll go over here to the two short beds here and show you what we've got left there. This first bed here, these are both 4x8 beds, by the way. This first bed here is the bed that had nothing but suckers that we had pruned off these tomato plants and stuck in the ground over here. And I don't know what they all are. It's just a different mixture. I pruned these way back this week too. I hadn't pruned them at all since I put them in, and they were kind of going crazy. I do think that these are Aussies though. I think those are probably clementines, but those got some scald. I'll just need to cut them off. I think these are Aussies as well. The Aussies just go crazy. I can't believe how amazing they are. Around to the other side. Show you this. It's just loaded. This is kind of like a tomato experiment bed. I just kind of wanted to see what they would do if you just did very minimal work to them versus the high intensity stuff over here. Okay, well, if you've been watching since the beginning of the season, this is the ground cherry bed. This bed has 2 ground cherries in it. That's it. My ground cherry jungle. That's a tongue twister. Ground cherry jungle. I will definitely be growing ground cherries again in the future. The mint, kind of funny. The rosemary has really taken off. This was one of those little packages that you buy like at Walmart, and I just transplanted it in there. Same thing with the oregano. Oops, sorry, bee. Here's the ground cherries from the other side. I'm gonna have so many volunteer ground cherries in here next year. I can't wait. Okay, looks like that does it for the kitchen garden area. We'll go around back now and I'll show you what's changed. We've harvested some things this week, video coming, and I think that's it. We've just harvested some things this week, kind of tidied the place up a little, so we'll go show you that. Here we are in the backyard garden. Things have changed up a little bit since the last time I brought you back here with me. I've harvested a few things. Things are starting to die back. Things are starting to come to the end of the season. So I'll turn the camera around and show you what I've got going on here. I'll start along this fence line here where we have our determinate tomatoes. They're just about done. We've harvested almost everything from them. So that was a fun experiment, but I think we'll do it a little differently next time. Here, if you've been watching, these 2 rows were the potatoes. We harvested all of those day before yesterday. I've got a potato video coming very soon. We did potatoes last year as well, so I'm combining the footage from last year with this year's footage, and we'll show you what we came up with. All right, cucumbers. I thought the cucumbers were on their way out because they were full of pickle worms, or I thought they were full of pickle worms. So I was just gonna come cut them all back and sow another round. I bought some white cucumbers that I'm excited to try. But then pickle worms went away and I've been harvesting cucumbers again. I think I'll still sow another round, maybe down at the bottom. And then when these die back, the others will be big enough. A little basil down here at the end. On this side, I had some tomato plants, but I just kind of let the cucumbers take them over since I have so many other tomato plants in other parts of the garden. On this row here, more tomato plant. These are all the overflow tomatoes from the kitchen garden. These are just a hodgepodge of different things that I had extras of that wouldn't fit in the kitchen garden. The only things that I know for sure is like this row here on this side is Amish paste. All the rest, you just have to identify them by tomato. Pretty sure that's a clementine. Tucker up there knocking. Same thing here from the overflow. I think that's a sucker that Elliot just stuck in there. I bet he forgot it's even in there. Here is the corn patch. It's kind of getting over into my aisles, but that's all right. I don't mind. I don't know when corn's ready. It doesn't look good. I don't know. This is a pretty pitiful row. It all needs to come out. I'll leave the nasturtiums. These are nasturtiums. Maybe I'll try to transplant them. I don't know. They didn't do very well. So next year, I'm pretty sure I'm going to do them in the raised bed garden instead of in the ground. These were squash. You can't really do squash here very well either. It's my understanding that if you want to do them organically, you have to sow them like every 2 weeks because the bugs will just get to them. So those all need to be pulled. Oh, that one's got one on there. And then I had some pest prevention flowers. Calendula, I believe. These were the onions, but they all got washed out. This is where the water runs through. We've harvested some, but I'll definitely not be planting onions in this particular row in the future. And then here's Raylan's pumpkin. We don't have any pumpkins yet, but the vine starts there. And it's come all the way over here. But no pumpkins yet. It's supposed to be sugar pop pumpkins, I think. All right, so that does it for this little no-dig area that I made back here. Now we'll head over to the watermelon patch. This is my little watermelon patch area. These little pots here, where I had my watermelons sitting because they were splitting. It was just raining so much, they were splitting. So I put them on these little elevated things, and that seemed to work. I haven't lost another one from splitting. I'm pretty happy about that. These look like they're on their way out. I don't really see any more melons on them, so I might pull them. But as I'm standing here, there's a whole bunch of new growth. So maybe I'll just trim off the vines that have died and let the new growth grow and see what happens. I don't know. I've never grown melons successfully before this year. It's all a big fun experiment. So this one, it didn't get very big, so I'm not sure why. But the little tendrils, that's supposedly how you know when they're ready to harvest, is these little tendrils. Instead of being green and lush and pretty like this one. See that one? See, it's all green and pretty. It'll be dry like this. And when the one closest to the melon is dry, then it's ready to harvest. Well, that one is definitely dry. But look, that's just a teeny tiny little melon. So I'm not entirely sure. This was a successful year, but it was a more successful year than I've ever had before. I did harvest a cantaloupe from here the other day, and it was the best cantaloupe I'd ever had in my life. These are honeydew melons, and if I'm being honest, I have no idea what kind of melon this is, but I'm excited to try it. Let's go over there to the other side and look at the peppers. Poblano peppers, habanero peppers, cayenne peppers, more habanero peppers, hybrid hot peppers, more cayenne, more cayenne. Oh, and over here, of course, have another round of tomatoes going. Elliot did all of these. These are 7 different kinds that we hadn't grown this year. So we wanted to see if we could get another round in before the first frost. So that one broke off before I could get it in the ground, but it's starting to come back. I think there's like a Paul Robeson and an Abe Lincoln and several other types that I can't remember. Okay, I think that wraps up this week's garden tour. Thank you so much for coming back and joining me in the garden again this week. Things are starting to look different. We're starting to wind down for the growing season, but I'm going to be sowing some seeds for the fall garden very, very soon. Since we're transitioning from growing season into the fall and winter season fairly soon, our projects will start being more DIY, home improvement style probably. I'm thinking about putting out a vlog maybe once or twice a week to just kind of give you a up-to-date on what's happening around here on a day-to-day basis, like what projects I'm working on. I'm still planning on doing dedicated videos for a garden tour as long as, you know, there's something interesting to show. Any building projects or things for the garden, those will probably have dedicated videos as well. If there's not a huge project that we're working on, I still want to be able to come and talk with you and share with you and show you what's going on in our lives, and I feel like a vlog format will be a good way to do that. Since the channel is still so young and I'm really kind of just building an intimate audience with you right now from the very beginning, I'm experimenting and trying to figure out what works best for me and what works best for you and what you like to watch. And the way that you can help me out with that is if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have something something to add, please comment below. That really helps me out, helps me know what you want to see. It helps give me ideas and input, because you know, I love making content and I love making videos for you. But I also want to know what you want to see, what kind of challenges you're facing and things that you're wanting to look up and things that you're wanting to know. And if I don't know them, chances are I probably want to know them too, and maybe I can research them. Anyways, I'm babbling. Again, thanks for joining me in the garden. Make sure you hit that little bell icon so that you'll get a notification anytime I post a new video, whether it's a garden tour or any of the other content that I'm gonna be putting out in the next couple of months. And I will see you again in the garden or around the house real soon. Bye.